Hello, everyone, and welcome to another wonderful afternoon of Badger Baseball. We are 80 degrees, sunny skies, partly cloudy, some big high cumulus clouds here in Magnolia. My name is Blake Bell, and it is my pleasure once again to bring you Arkadelphia Badger Baseball. I'm joined today by none other than our producer, on-air talent extraordinaire, Chris Babb. Chris, last time these two uh, came together was in Hot Springs over at the beautiful Majestic Park. What a whale of a game, a 1-0 Arkadelphia win, a no-hitter, cool night. Today is a perfect day for baseball. What are we looking for today?
Yeah, Trip Campbell had the 1-0 win. Didn't get a whole lot of help from his offense, but really didn't need that much help at that point. 1-0, it was a 1-0 win for Arkadelphia. This is a Magnolia team that is looking to kind of get back in the race. You take a look at the 4A7 conference standings. Arkadelphia 6-2, a half game ahead of Nashville 5-2. Ashdown in third at 4-2. Magnolia 4-3. So they're looking at this if they can get a win and kind of get a half game back. There's kind of a jumble. The top four teams make it to the 4A South Regional. Kind of a jumble there. At 4-3, Magnolia at fourth, Camden Fairview 4-4. They had a loss to Hope last night, but regardless, Arkadelphia is going to try to move to 7-2. The thing that's different about this team than the first time these two teams played, the team as a whole is hitting the ball a little bit better. Arkadelphia is. Individually, there are a couple that are still trying to find their way, but overall, this Arkadelphia team is hitting the ball a lot better after spring break than they were before.
And they're going to get a chance to prove it right now. Carter Babb, first up to bat for Arkadelphia. He's going to have a 2-0 count to get things started here for Arkadelphia. Babb, Young, and Campbell start things off here as they normally do in the top of the first inning. Brown, Witten, and Hooten, the next three in line, followed by Hill, Kesterson, and Stevenson. The 2-0 is an outside pitch that catches just enough of the black for strike one. 2 balls and a strike to the senior left-hander. Carter going to be getting the start on the mound today for Arkadelphia. And we'll see if he can help his cause here early in the top of the first. 3-1 count already to the leadoff man. Carter so far is batting .237 this year, but an impressive .396 on base, and that's exactly what you want, Chris, out of your leadoff man.
You do. He's not had very good production offensively the last few games. He would like to start off on base here.
9 walks. He leads the team in walks. He just takes strike 2, so a full count now, 3 balls and 2 strikes to Carter to start things off. Here's the 3-2, and he's going to hit it right back up the gut and a leadoff base hit right up the middle for Carter Babb. And once again, he does exactly what he's put on that leadoff spot to do, and that's get on base. This time he draws a full count and takes it right back up the middle for a leadoff base hit.
Good piece of hitting. He thought he probably had ball 4 on 4 straight. I was watching some of these people sitting right in front of him. One lady said, that looks like it was in the other batter's box. But regardless, you got the strike. That's a nice 3-2, nice 2-strike approach there, just shortening it up and putting it back up the box.
K.D. Young now, he's going to step in the right side, take strike 1. Carter going to get his lead away from first. He is being held on over there by first baseman. That is Hunter Buford. And the scoreboard is off, so we'll do our best to try to keep the count as best we can here for you. Ball and a strike now to KD.
It's on there. It's just real faint. It's facing that sun. It does
I see it now.
It does say 1-1 now, but
I can see it. Sun right on that. Right on that. The sun's going to be right at every one of the defenders. The hit and run was on. No contact by KD, but the stolen base anyway by Carter. So 2 strikes down on KD, but we've got a runner in scoring position in Carter Babb. And nice job there. That's stolen base number 9 for Carter. He leads the team in stolen bases. And, again, that's what a leadoff guy is supposed to do.
a lot of room on that right side with the second baseman initially holding Babb on. He'll probably retreat, but a lot of room on that right side for KD to poke one to the outfield.
KD's known for casting that bat out a little bit on those outside pitches. He might find that hole, and he casts it out, but he gets out in front just enough to pull it foul, so still behind in the count. I believe it's a ball and 2 strikes to KD.
Yeah, 1 ball, 2 strikes. Trip Campbell on deck. He's really, really, really been good offensively.
KD
the
didn't
last
have
couple of weeks.
Excuse me, Chris. KD didn't have a great game, or didn't have a great year last year, but he's hitting over 350 this year, and again 389 on base. He's got 12 hits, and the catcher is going to go out and talk about it that's Dalen Blanchard. He's going to go out and make sure they've got the signal right for the pitch, and not only that, but the runner at second base, Carter Babb, represents the first run on the board if it could happen for Arkadelphia. No outs here, top of the first, no score from Magnolia. Ashton Hunter, the pitcher, leans in. There's a foul ball that may hopefully get out of play. It's going to get over there by the tarp and just about a couple of feet away from foul territory, or from the fence, out of play there. There was a tarp that might have hindered the right fielder anyway. So
a lot of room in foul territory down the right field line and left field line. 320 down the lines, 350 in the alley, 360 to dead center here in Magnolia.
And it's a beautiful day. Everything sunny. Sun right behind us, looking right at the defensive lineup in the field. Ground ball that's going to be hit slightly to third base. He comes across. He's going to have Carter hung up. Carter going to go out of the baseline. He's going to get the lead out, and a little bit of a base running blunder there. Nice play by the third baseman over there from Magnolia, and he got the lead runner in Carter Babb, and safe on the fielder's choice is KD down at first.
Well, he initially waited for the third baseman to go across, but the third baseman did a nice job of deking him, having a little ball fake, and Carter took that extra 2 steps, and then he was toast.
So here's the guy that gets it done normally when he's up, and that is Trip Campbell, batting an even 500, 535 on base, leading the team with 19 hits, 9 RBIs, 8 extra base hits. That also leads the team, or is actually tied with the team, with Caden Brown, and he's right behind him on deck in the 4-hole. Foul ball straight back, a big cut, 2 big cuts as a matter of fact by Tripp, and he starts out 0-2. KD, the lone base runner over at first base for Arkadelphia. 1 out, no score here. Top of the first from Magnolia. Beautiful ballpark here.
A lot of room in both gaps. Left fielder's playing really shallow.
And strike 3 called, and so down goes Campbell on a rare strikeout looking. Caden Brown now, he'll come up, 472. Other than Cooper Stevenson, who doesn't have a lot of at-bats, Caden Brown has really worked his way into that 4 spot and doing well there. The open stance, 2 down now. He's going to take high inside for ball 1. Brown again transferred in from Hope, and he's had a whale of a year, including a nice game against his old team, the Hope Bombcats, about a week ago. Here's the 1-0. It's going to be hit to the shortstop. He fields it to his left quickly. Ball is bobbled and lost by the second baseman. So what should have been a routine, easy play, 6-4, is an error on, it's going to be a throwing error on the shortstop, and Arkadelphia stays alive with runners at first and second, and Donovan Whitten up with 2 down here in the first. Now, talking about a guy that's had a complete turnaround from last year, that's Donovan Whitten. He couldn't hit water if he fell out of a boat last year for much of the season. This year he's hitting .378 with 14 hits, and he's getting it done with a lot of extra power this year. Nice
breaking ball there at time to start off Whitten. Now he's going to have to battle from behind. He really has, Blake. He's really hit the ball well, and there's a lot of room in left center field. If he's able to get around on one here, it's going to score 1, possibly 2.
7 extra base hits, and an extra base hit right here would most likely score 2. Brown's got some speed over there on first, and if it were to find one of those holes, Badgers could put 2 on the board here early.
The breaking ball got the top part of the zone after the break. I think Donovan knew it was going to break, expected it to be a little high. Pitcher got the call.
There's a ground ball. It's hit sharply right into the third baseman, making the turn at third, and he's going to be drawing a throw. Is KD. He's not going to draw the throw. And so it is an RBI. KD looked like there was plenty of time, a good relay in from the left fielder into third, and the third baseman decided to hold up, and KD goes in face first for the first score of the game on RBI single for Donovan Whitten.
It was Coach Benson Jordan, third base coach, waving KD around from the get-go, and KD attacked that plate like it was a running back or a quarterback, just dove right on top of that sucker. You know, you hate to be greedy and say, wish, you know, what could have been, but, you're looking at possibly 2-0 with a one-run 2-0 lead with one out and a runner in scoring position, but you go back to that base running error.
Here's Houston Hooten. He's going to hit a ground ball, a routine to the second baseman. Goes to his left and makes the throw over to first for the third out. But the Badgers do strike first, one run in the top of the first. We're going to take a break. We'll be back to Magnolia with more Badger baseball.
Hello, I'm Taylor King. I've been practicing law for over 34 years. But long before that, I learned what it takes to be a good lawyer. Caring for others.
We'll get toasty
you can say
today.
it's a family trait, and it's one I've passed along to my kids. If you've been involved in an accident, call 1-800-CAR-WRECK. I want to help.
We want to help, to be on your side, by your side. I'm Austin King. Now, I've not been practicing law quite as long as my dad, but thanks to him, I know what it takes to be a good lawyer. I guess you could say it runs in the family.
Magnolia, middle of the pack at 4-3. There's a soft blooper to second base, and making about a half a step to his left and back is Ashton Cobb for the first out of the inning. And Arkadelphia has one recorded here. 4 unassisted to Ashton Cobb. Braden Sanchez, shortstop, another right-hander in this lineup for Magnolia. Magnolia in the all-white with the red trim, the Red Sox, Arkadelphia, and those throwback Badger blues that they wore last Friday on 2013 10-year anniversary night. Great event there for honoring Coach Matros and those young men that really were the start of a lot of great things in this Badger program.
Yeah, that was That was a fun night. As you're able to get with Coach Matros, and had a lot of those guys back. Probably close to 15 of those guys came back.
You know, I wasn't able to make it. I was really upset I wasn't able to make it, but I looked at the pictures. Some of those guys had beards, and man, they look like they're grown men.
They look a lot older than I did.
There's a ground ball that's going to be right over the head of Babb and going to his left and making the play nicely there is shortstop and senior to boot, Donovan Whitten.
Yeah, it's just a lazy ball, not a lot of hard contact on that one. Went over the head of Babb. You couldn't tell from our vantage point if that was going to get over the over the bag and through the middle or not, but Donovan, nice job of ranging to his left to the bag, and the momentum allowed him to make a nice throw.
Not every shortstop's going to make that. The long-legged and pretty fleet of foot and pretty good wingspan to boot there is QB1 there as he makes that nice catch behind the second base bag. 2 down now, and Dalen Blanchard, the hitter.
Do we call him LB4 now or LB?
I guess we call him LB. Not sure what the number's going to be on the hill, but we go from QB to LB. We're proud of him, though. He's a good ball player, good football player, and a pretty darn good baseball player as well. Blanchard fouls the first one back, and Babb is all over the strike zone to start this game. And he just missed that one. That was a judgment call by the umpire, and he judged it just a bit high. Ball and a strike to Blanchard.
Magnolia 8-6 overall, 4-3 in the conference.
Yeah, Arkadelphia going to step out of conference if it's going to work out on Thursday. Lake Hamilton will be at home, Arkadelphia on Thursday, and then they'll make the road trip Friday to Malvern. Malvern, one of those teams that Arkadelphia let a win get away from early in the year. They could have been a one-loss team or maybe even better. That's one they'd like to get back, and they'll have a chance on Friday to make it right. There's a low pitch, and for the first time, Carter having a little bit of trouble finding the strike zone to Blanchard.
Magnolia has won 4 straight, scored double digits in all 4 of those. 19-1 win over Hope, 13-2 over Malvern, 10-0 over DeQueen, and last night a 14-2 win over Monticello.
They've got Nashville on Friday night, and that ought to be a whale of a game, too. There's a base hit, 2 outs, and Blanchard comes through there on a pitch that Babb needed to throw a strike. He did, and Blanchard was waiting on it. So Blanchard's at first with 1 out, a nice base hit there to start things out, and that's the first one given up. And now you'll see the pitcher and also cleanup hitter Ashton Hunter.
Courtesy runner for Magnolia, Jacob Hebert. Courtesy running for the catcher, Blanchard. Pitcher on pitcher here.
Another right-handed batter. A lot of righties in the lineup for Magnolia. Here's the pitch. He starts him out with a low fastball for for ball 1. Dalen Blanchard probably may not be much of a threat to steal. We'll see. He's getting a pretty nice lead over there. Brown's holding him on. Normal depth in the middle for the Arkadelphia infield. Shading the line a little bit is K.D. Young at third. Right-handed 4-hole hitter, most likely a pull hitter. He's got that open stance. You got to know that you got to anticipate that ball down the third base line. There's a pickoff move over. Nice play over there by Brown. That one hopped into him, a little short arm by Babb, but Brown is able to keep it in front of his body and keep the runner at bay. 2 balls, no strikes. Babb comes again to the plate. Again, it's a little bit low. Nice dig there by Stevenson. 3 balls and no strikes, and what started as 2 quick outs has now turned into a base runner and a 3-0 count. And a little bit of a threat here by Magnolia in the bottom of the first. Badgers lead it 1-0. Strike 1, and he once again put it in. It was a take all the way for Hunter. Count now 3-1 to the Magnolia pitcher. Getting the sign in from Stevenson. He comes set to the belt. Here's the kick. 3-1 pitch. It's going to be hit right through the gap.
It hit him.
And
It hit him. It hit
the base runner,
It hit him.
I don't know, and Babb has his hands up. It hit him. It ricocheted off, and that has got to be a call that is made. The plate umpire is going to have to ask for an appeal there because
yeah, absolutely.
that absolutely ricocheted off the base runner, and that's a no-doubter there. That ball took a completely different angle, and it hit the base runner. He's going to stay there at second like it didn't happen, and that is an awful, awful call to start this game. Coach Lowe goes out, and to no avail. I mean, that ball completely changed directions, Chris. It probably made a 2 or 3 foot different change. And not that he was going to make the play anyway, but rules are rules. It hit the batter, it hit the runner going to first or going to second. So now 2 outs, runners at first and second on a bad break for the Badgers.
Man, that's a tough one.
Yeah, it really is. There's a bouncing ball that is nice play. There's a bouncing ball that goes to the left side. Diving in for it was K.D. Young. The first turn that Babb made was to K.D. to get the force at third. He wasn't there. He's able to turn, make a good lob over to first base to Caden Brown to get the out. And, Chris, that's a hard play to make. He had his mind made up to go to third base. All the momentum going, has to turn as a lefty, make that throw to first. It sailed a little bit on him, but a nice play over there by Caden to stretch out and make it. So, Arkadelphia gets a little bit of a threat. They get a terrible call, and Coach Lowe's letting them hear
well,
it.
Well, now the umpire's saying he thought he heard something. It's rabbit ears. If you're going to hear something all the way behind the first base bag, goodness gracious, come on now.
Well, you've got 2 umpires on the field in high school baseball, except for playoff baseball. Normally you have 3, but we've got 2 umpires. The thing about it is, even if the field umpire couldn't see that, the plate umpire has a perfect advantage point, just like we do, and saw that ball change directions.
Yeah.
He's got to make that call.
You're right.
We're going to keep it here because we didn't get a lot of pregame time. They started this thing right on time at 5 o'clock. And once again, folks, it is a wonderful afternoon, 80 degrees here in Magnolia. It's a perfect day for baseball. Major League Baseball in full swing. About 3 weekend series deep into SEC ball play. And the Badgers have completed their first sweep of round robin against DeQueen on Friday night. And now a chance to sweep their second of the season against these Magnolia Panthers.
Yeah, softball is also playing in Magnolia today. The Lady Badgers got a big 4-3 win over DeQueen on Friday at home. Right now, Arkadelphia is 1 game out of 4th place. They're at 3-4. Malvern 7-1, one of the top teams in the state. Ashdown, Nashville, DeQueen, then Arkadelphia.
Zane Hill going to lead things off. He takes an inside strike. Daniel Kesterson and Cooper Stevenson will round out the top of the second for Arkadelphia. Arkadelphia batted 6 in the top of the first. Here's the 0-1. That one's way inside. Little unfamiliar position out there in right field for Zane Hill, but Zane got a lot of wheels on him, a good all-around ball player. Shouldn't have any trouble out there today, and a good backup in Cooper Stevenson behind the plate. Popping it up, foul, and right over our head for strike 2. A ball and 2 strikes now to Zane Hill. Hill batting .250, 341 on base. And strike 3 called, so Hill goes down for the second strikeout looking for Magnolia pitching this afternoon. And Daniel Kesterson now will get his first trip, the left fielder for Arkadelphia, getting his first visit to the plate. Kesterson sees an off-speed pitch that stays high, ball 1. 235 on the season. He's got 8 hits in the young season so far, but 10 RBIs. He's actually tied for the team lead with Caden Brown in RBIs in double digits at 10. Pop up on a very high pitch. This is going to be playable. It is foul. The pitcher coming over, and he's going to make the can of corn catch in foul territory. So quickly 2 Badgers down as Kesterson swings at a high pitch and fouls it out of play but caught. Or excuse me, in foul territory, but caught. Cooper Stevenson doesn't have a lot of at-bats, Chris, but he's hitting .571. He's got 4 hits. He's walked 4 times and only struck out once, so good things coming here, hopefully, for young Cooper Stevenson. Big cut on strike 1, and he's up there for business right now. He's not looking for walk number 5. No. He's looking, I believe, for hit number 5 and possibly extra base hit number 1. 2 down now for the Badgers, and again, good Magnolia pitching as we normally see. We saw that the last time. It was just a little bit better by Arkadelphia's Trip Campbell. Trip pitched a 1-hitter the other night, so he's got a no-no and a one hitter. So nice work by the Henderson State commit. Stevenson just a little bit out in front of that as he fouls it down the third base line between Coach Jordan and the third base bag. Coach Todd Roop over at first base, coaching. Calling pitches from the dugout is Coach Lowe in his 6th season. A swing and a miss for Cooper. And so quickly the Badgers go down in the top of the second, 1-2-3 on a strikeout. Looking, a pop-up out of play, and a strikeout swinging. Arkadelphia will be back at the top of the lineup and the top of the third, but we're going to take 60 seconds and come back for the bottom of the second. You're listening to Badger Baseball on Mascot Media.
Whether you realize it or not, you see the work of Bats and Signs all around Arkadelphia. When you see the Badger equipment trailer on the way to a Badger game, Bats and Signs did that. When you're watching the Badgers, Tigers, or Reddies and see the signage that just really makes their facilities pop, Bats and Signs did that too. You see the signage in downtown Arkadelphia, on the campuses of Ouachita and Henderson, or the sign in your neighbor's yard supporting a candidate or their favorite Badger? Yep, Bats and Sign did that too. Longtime residents and supporters of all things Arkadelphia, call Mark, Jared, Chris, or Ryan at Bats and Signs today to see what they can do for you.
Back to action here in Magnolia. Badgers leading things 1-0 as we go to the bottom of the second. Arkadelphia with a run in the first, held scoreless in the second. Carter Babb is on the bump for Arkadelphia. Senior left-hander. Nice first inning of work. A little bit of defensive shake-up. Cooper Stevenson behind the plate today. Out in right field, Zane Hill in the absence of Maddox Finley. Maddox feeling a little ill today. We may not see Maddox for a couple of games. May have an extended illness. We may see a couple of more games with this same lineup. Arkadelphia, like I said, stepping out of conference on Thursday to play Lake Hamilton in Arkadelphia. The Wolves, a team Arkadelphia just cannot seem to get past. Hopefully they'll be able to do it, and then back home against those friendly foes from about 25 miles down the road, the Malvern Leopards, on Friday.
That'd be at Malvern.
At Malvern. At Malvern. All right, so here we go. We're going to get started. Hunter Buford, he's the first baseman, right-hander. He's going to take a ball for the first pitch from Babb. He takes that normal little half-moon clockwise rotation step around and meets that third base edge of the rubber, and here he comes set. Fouled off to the right side, out of play. Magnolia with a little bit of size on the team. Nice. We see a lot of Arkadelphia, probably one of the bigger teams as far as size and bulk in the league. A lot of football players and a lot of boys that just look like they. There's a shot over there that is in time. That is a nice play. Almost a little too nonchalant as KD Young. He brings himself up into the grass about 4 steps, makes a rocket shot across the infield. It was a little high, but once again, Caden Brown stretches that body out and makes the play over there. So 5-3 the put out for Arkadelphia here in the the bottom of the second. DJ Marshall now, he's the designated hitter, again from the right side. Now he looks like a football player, Chris.
Big boy.
Here's the pitch from Babb. And again, it's going to be hit on the line. That ball just foul. Boy, nice play over there by KD. Snatched it right on the left side of the third base bag with his backhand.
Yeah, Marshall thought that was going to be a lot more foul than it was. I wish that had kind of taken a little hop to the right.
Yeah,
he didn't come out of the box.
He did not, and that was just about a 6-inch subway away from being a fair ball and probably what would have been an out. Ball one is taken outside by Marshall. Babb tries the outside and misses. There's another pitch that goes outside. Marshall chases that one. He's late and fouls it away against the screen off to the right side. He's in the hole, a ball and 2 strikes. Carter Babb, not a pitcher that's going to overpower you, but what he is going to do is he's going to mix you up. He's going to throw pitches that you're not expecting. There's a ground ball to Witten, goes to his right. Nice play across the diamond, and that is what your shortstop is supposed to do, ladies and gentlemen. That is a fine play and the second one of the day for Donovan Witten.
That's just a tremendous play. He didn't panic. He got behind the ball. He knew he was going to be able to backhand it and still get his body behind it and made a strike over there to Caden Brown for the second out. It's just a fantastic play from deep in the hole at short.
That looked like a pass from Donovan Witten to Carter Babb in the end zone across the middle. But this time to Caden Brown for the second out of the inning. First lefty in the lineup is Porter Alston, the right fielder. A little ironic there, the only lefty in the lineup, and he's the right fielder. And he's going to hit this one into the shallow center, making a easy can of corn of it is Trip Campbell. So that's all she wrote. 1, 2, 3 go down. No runs, no hits, no errors for the Panthers here in the bottom of the second. Arkadelphia leads it 1-0 from Magnolia. We'll be back in 30 seconds. You're listening to Arkadelphia Badger Baseball.
Make Print Mania in downtown Arkadelphia your place to get embroidery, screen printing, trophies, and more. Drop by their store on Main Street in downtown Arkadelphia or visit their website at printmaniatees.com to see how they can help your business or group. Need a shirt for an event? Let Print Mania take care of that. Need promotional materials for your business or organization? You can let Print Mania take care of that too. A family-run local business in Arkadelphia, Print Mania has been serving the public since 1992. Call Print Mania today, 870-246-3803.
Back to Magnolia we come. Arkadelphia leading a tight one again, 1-0. That was the final score the first time these two met at Majestic Park in Hot Springs, but that was a 7-inning affair where a pitcher's duel ended with a no-hitter by Trip Campbell, and a night to remember for that young man. And hopefully Arkadelphia can put a few more runs on the board. It may take a couple more here today as we return to the top of the lineup in Carter Babb, who was very patiently able to draw a leadoff single to start the game for Arkadelphia. His second time at bat, he's 1 for 1 on the day. Carter with 10 hits now in the season. He also leads the team in walks with 9, and again, we stress the importance of a leadoff hitter, and it's the second time he's been a leadoff hitter in 3 innings. Takes strike 1. Ball and a strike now to the Arkadelphia pitcher. Slight breeze going to be blowing in from right field. There's a foul off to the left side. That one's going to get into the parking lot. Carter down now 1-2. 320s down the line, 350s in the alley. A big batter's eye is 360 to dead straightaway center. Outside, ball 2. The count is even now at 2s for Carter, number 22. Pitcher leans in, takes the set from the belt. Carter's going to hit this one to the second baseman. It's going to get to him. Nice come up and play, and a nice throw, and Carter legged it out and was just a bit short. As a nice play over there by the Magnolia second baseman. Had to make a diving play to his left. He comes up right at the back of the infield dirt and makes a play over to the first baseman, and Carter is robbed of a base hit here to start the third. KD reached on a fielder's choice on a base running situation. Carter Babb had gotten to second and anticipated the throw over to first. This time, high pop up on the infield. Calling it as the first baseman settles under it for the second out of the inning, and the Badgers are 1-2 here to start the third. Trip Campbell struck out looking in the first. Won't see that a whole lot. Top of the Badger lineup so far is 1 for 5. There's a high fly ball to shallow center field. Center fielder going to come in, but the second baseman ranges back and makes the play. A lot of sunshine to deal with, but the second baseman makes a couple of nice plays there to end the Badger third as Arkadelphia goes 1-2-3. They still lead it going into the bottom of the third, 1-0 here from Magnolia. You're listening to Badger Baseball on ArkadelphiaBadgerTV.com.
While you may not be a pediatric surgeon volunteering your topiary talents at a children's hospital, your life is just as unique. Your Raymond James financial advisor gets to know you, your passions, and the way you give back, so you can live your life. That's life well planned.
Chris, my yard looks like that. You believe that, don't you?
No.
Those dinosaurs, I got dinosaurs all over the yard. My topiary,
topiary
talents are, I can't even spell topiary, much less do it. So, yeah. You know, we're in a kind of a neat place this afternoon. Magnolia, Arkansas, Columbia County, home of the world's largest charcoal grill and the World Champion Steak Cook-Off, which is part of the Magnolia Blossom Festival in May. Big deal. That's a big deal.
Some friends from Arkadelphia that entered that state contest every year. And that's the one contest. I mean, I like to be a judge of a lot of food contests, but
call me.
I could handle being a judge of that one. You know, Arkadelphia had a catfish contest a few years ago.
I know.
I was quick to volunteer for that one.
Man, I tell you what. Hey, Devin Dunn, he's the 9-hole hitter. He's going to come up to bat from the right side. Devin is the center fielder. We'll see if he can get things started here or if Babb can continue his run of scoreless innings here. He takes an inside, nice pitch there. That was a nice pitch that did exactly what Carter wanted to do. It started out over the plate, disappeared right at the knees, and was enough for strike one. Here's the 0-1. Carter finding that strike zone again and wearing it out. That time an outside pitch that Dunn cannot lay off of. He fouls it away on the right side, and he's quickly in a big hole 0-2.
Well, he changed up. You know, he had his eyes looking for the curveball, came back with a fastball, had him off balance. See what he does here on this one.
Here's the 0-2. And there's a ball that's going to be hit softly to the first baseman, and just about a half step to his right goes Caden Brown. He makes the play unassisted, and so right then in 3 pitches, the first out of the inning for Carter Babb, and back to the top of the lineup go the Magnolia Panthers. There was
Probably
a famous.
You can hear the wind a little bit. I'm trying to adjust it, but we're sitting outside, and that wind is blowing in from left field.
Yeah, it
feels great because that sun is hot on the back of my neck.
Yeah, it is. We're back. We do have the sun in our back, but I'd rather have it in our back than in my face playing center field. Back to the top of the lineup. Pop up to the third baseman was the first out of the inning for Camden Smith back in the first. And now he sees strike one on a 1-0 count from Babb, and it evens it at 1-1.
Were you going to talk about steak again?
Well,
we can't be talking.
I can't talk a whole lot about steak. We're not even halfway through this thing, and
no, that'd be bad.
That would be bad. Foul ball is. Matter of fact, this ball game is moving quite quickly. Couple of pitchers out there that don't mess around. No pitch clock like they have in college and pro baseball, but we've got a couple of pitchers that come to work this afternoon, and they're not messing around. I know a 1-2 count already on the batter, Camden Smith. And there's one that just misses outside. It started to look like on the plate and just faded away enough to be outside for ball 2. 2 balls and 2 strikes to the leadoff hitter and left fielder Camden Smith for Magnolia. Camden from Magnolia. And he comes in. That was a hard pitch to lay off. Again, I'll stress the fact that Carter doesn't have the strongest arm, but what he does have is he has a good IQ for a pitcher. He knows to mix the pitches up. He hits his spots very well. He keeps batters confused. And there's the first walk of the ball game by either pitcher. And it's a 1-out walk to Camden Smith. Braden Sanchez now grounded out to Witten back in the first inning. One of the first of a couple of good plays by Donovan here in the game. And we'll see if Smith is a threat to steal. There's a throw over. He's back in on his belly. He messes up that pearly white uniform. And here's the first pitch to Sanchez. Outside for ball 1. Sanchez, a right-handed hitting shortstop. And there's a ball that's going to be hit, and that one is going to be caught. What a play out there by Zane Hill. And we talked about him being out of position. He comes up and makes a fantastic play out in right field. Nice job, young man.
Man, he came at that on a sprint, and that's a dangerous play. You know, if he doesn't make that catch, that's extra bases. The runner on first is going to score. He had a chance that almost came up and was able to make a double play. That's the types of plays you have to have if you're going to win ball games, and that was a tremendous play by Zane Hill. You know, Zane, you've talked about it. I know that Zane does have really good speed. We've seen it on the bases, and he just used that speed in the outfield there as a tremendous play to robbing extra bases.
Couple outs now on the board. That runner still over at first is Camden Smith, and a tip of the hat from Carter Babb out there to his former battery mate Zane Hill for a very nice play out in right field. You know, we saw a catcher transform into a outfielder a couple of years ago here at Arkadelphia, and it turned out pretty well. Might even see that young man. He's a freshman here at SAU in Magnolia. Throw over again, and that one's going to get by, and
2 outs, really,
going into second base, and the ball is going to get into the tarp and not
paying attention. You know, he dove into second. I don't know if Donovan deked him. Coach Beeson's looking down at him. It's like, you got to be looking at me. He had third base easily. You know, there were 2 outs. You got a runner at first base. You just need to get the out. You know, get the batter. You're up on the count 0-1, and now you have a runner in scoring position, and a base hit could tie the game up.
Coach Bobby Beeson, he is the head coach for the Panthers and coaching in that third base box, and he's still got his hands on his hips like, what are you thinking, young man? You're my leadoff hitter. You get on base, you do exactly what you're supposed to, and you look like you're sliding into a foxhole at second base, and the ball's over rolling around the tarp.
I wasn't watching. I was watching where the ball was, where the runner was. I wasn't watching to see if Donovan had tried to deke him to act like he was getting ready to get the ball. You know, and that could have been what it was. He said, you know, if Donovan did a nice job there, he could have drawn the head first slide.
Man, there's a shot out into left, and that's going to get over Kesterson's head. It's going to tie the ball game, and going into second base very hard is Blanchard, and Blanchard is going to have a tying RBI here with 2 outs in the bottom of the third, and that's going to draw a little bit of excitement from the Magnolia dugout. Nice piece of hitting there by Blanchard. He just took the ball where it was and got the barrel around on it, hit it just over the outstretched right hand, right side of Kesterson out in left field.
I think he had the hit in the first inning also, so Blanchard's 2 for 2 now. Now he's out there at second in scoring position to give Magnolia a lead.
So the base running blunder back there by Smith was really not to any avail, as that he would have scored either way. But a nice piece of hitting by Blanchard not only ties the score, but as you say, puts another runner in scoring position for the Panthers. And the first hit of the game belongs to Ashton Hunter. He's the batter right now. He singled back in the first inning for Magnolia. Blanchard's 2 for 2. He singled to left back in the first. He singled to left or doubled to left here in the third. So nice start by the Magnolia catcher. And there's a shot that was going to get to a nice play across the diamond. And
wow.
Oh my goodness.
God.
This is 3 in a row. The hat trick by Donovan Witten, and we're only in the third inning. I can't believe it. Ranging to his right, deep in the hole, all the way about a step into the grass, comes across from his knees, makes the throw to Brown. Brown scoops it. That looked like something you would see on Sunday afternoon on the Game of the Week professional baseball.
Yeah, that was tremendous play.
So it saves a run, but the damage is done. The game is tied, and we're going to go to the top of the fourth. We're going to keep it here. You know, we're not going to get back to the steak dinner, but I am going to get back to a little Magnolia trivia. You know, there was a famous football player from Magnolia that has some connections not only to Magnolia but also to Arkadelphia. Can you name that football player?
I need a clue.
Well, he played football at one of the universities in Arkadelphia.
All right.
He was a wide receiver. Two-part question.
Yep.
Tell you what I'll do. I'll buy you a Coke if you get the first one right. I'll buy you a hot dog if you get the second one. We'll come back to that between the next inning. We're going to come back here to inning number 4 as Arkadelphia is going to get some things started. Hopefully here with Caden Brown. You know, we've taken we've made a hero so far out of Donovan Witten, and he rightfully deserves it. But Caden Brown doing a whale of a job over there digging out balls at first base.
No doubt. You know, just a tremendous job on both ends of that. You've really got to make sure that you're got the foot on the bag, and you know, Caden Brown did that with all 3 of those.
Brown reached on an error back in the first inning. We'll see if the junior first baseman can get on base for a second time here in as many tries. First pitch is in the dirt and gets past the catcher for ball 1. Brown, Witten, and Hooten. Witten not only playing a whale of a job in the field, but has the RBI that scored the only Arkadelphia run, and he's due up on deck here in the 4th. Game moving along quickly here from Panther Field at Magnolia. Inside pitch, just misses. Brown turns, and it's a 3-0 count to the leadoff batter here in the 4th inning. Brown 472, 524 on base, and he's going to add to that as a 1 for 1 day so far. Did reach on that error in the first, but draws a walk, so he's actually over, but that on-base percentage is going to go up a little bit for Mr. Brown. And here's the man of the hour so far, Donovan Witten. He RBI'd with a single back in the first that scored a run. That was K.D. Young that come across the plate for Arkadelphia. Represents the only Badger blip on the board today. No crooked numbers either side. Ball is going to be hit high, deep infield. The second baseman going to range back and then come back up to make the play. He makes it for the first out of the inning, and so Donovan on the first pitch pops up to the second baseman, and designated hitter Houston Hooten. Grounded to the second baseman back in the first inning to end the first. Zane Hill on deck for Arkadelphia. Brown at first. He drew a walk to lead off the inning. He's being held on over there with about a 3-step lead, a good secondary. He pops Catcher pops up. He's noticing him, and that's exactly what Mr. Brown wants to do. Brown, a former catcher, he caught at a lot of his time at Hope, so very smart as to know what the catchers are looking for, and this time he's back in head first as he draws the throw from the pitcher, and he stumbled just a bit, had to make an extra claw, had to make an extra hand motion to get there. Ball and a strike. Hootie, there's a throw behind him. That's not even close. Brown can see it coming from a mile away as he's back in.
We did a nice job diving back to that back corner of the bag, too, rather than coming in front, make that first baseman come down with the tag and find you on that back corner.
Brown, a guy, doesn't have a lot to say, but he does it with his action on the field. He's a good ball player, smart ball player. There's a swing and a miss. Hootie's right through that fastball. 2 balls and 2 strikes now to the Arkadelphia DH. Brown's got 7 stolen bases. That's enough for second place on the team. Always a threat to do it. And we'll see at 3-2. Not going to get a stolen base here unless it's a strikeout. Hopefully Hootie can put the ball in play and maybe he can get a good jump here. Outside, Hootie's looking. He doesn't like it. And don't know that I disagree. That was a little bit outside. And it's hard to see the plate. Umpire may have left his brush at home. A little bit.
Yeah, I really say that, and I think I can tell where it is. But, we've seen a lot of looking this year, with 2 strikes, if you don't like it, you just got to foul it off and get to the next one. Don't put that decision in the umpire's mind.
Yeah, you're exactly right. Hill, he struck out looking. First time up to lead off the second inning. He's back up here, and he swings through the first pitch with 2 down and still that runner over at first. Gets a look from the pitcher. Now he's going. Hit and run is on. Hill drives one deep to left field, going over and not making the play. Reaching out, and it's going to score is Brown. He's going to come around third easy. Got a great jump and an RBI double for Zane Hill. He makes a great play in the field and follows it up with a nice base hit here to give the Badgers back the lead in the 4th.
A lot of room. This is only 320 down the lines, 360 to dead center, but, man, it just looks like there is a lot of room in that outfield. And, they were playing him, kind of shading to left center, and Zane just put that one right probably about 2 feet fair. Maybe a little bit more than that, but that left fielder did a nice job of diving for it, just couldn't make the catch.
And Zane's making a case for player of the game. I tell you, he and Witten having a great ball game so far. Kesterson fouls the first pitch back. He popped it up out of play, popped it up foul for the second out of the second inning. 2 outs now and a runner in scoring position. Right back up the middle he goes. Making the turn, the speedy. Hill is going to make the turn at three. The play comes to the home. It is not in time. Going into second and beating the throw is Daniel Kesterson. And so the Arkadelphia outfield corners getting it done from the plate here in the top of the 4th is Daniel Kesterson now with a double right up the middle, and that is going to be a lead now with 2 here in the 4th and a 3-1 Arkadelphia lead. You got to know that with a runner like Hill at second base, you put the ball in play, he is going to score, and he did it easily. Nice play there by Kesterson. So with 2 outs now, Arkadelphia getting something done here, 3-1. They've retaken the lead here back in the top of the 4th against Magnolia in Magnolia. Beautiful afternoon, and Cooper Stevenson struck out swinging. He is in the 9 spot getting the defensive call behind the plate. Kesterson over at third.
Nice pitch. Good
pitch, bends in for a strike and hard to lay off of and hard to hit, and Stevenson lets it go by.
You go back to that, sorry to interrupt you, but Kesterson, there's a nice job of base running by Kesterson and base coaching by Roop. When they saw that ball come from center field all the way to the plate, Kesterson broke on it, and that's what they enabled to put him in scoring position.
Yeah, the center fielder had he had time to make the throw home. It was short and to the second base side. It was cut off by the catcher. He immediately makes the relay, and just a good job of coaching over there and running by Kesterson.
It was a good throw by the catcher.
It was a
good throw by the catcher. Made it close.
Not a great throw by the center fielder, but just a good all-around offensive set by the Arkadelphia Badgers. Cooper running the count a little deep here and has 2 outs now, trying to be patient. Here's the 2-2. Inside, he swings. He gets away from the catcher. He's going to have a long throw down to first base, and he's going to pop up, and that is, man, he went up, and if he came down, he had to have come down before Cooper got there. It looked like it was a bang-bang play, but he's called out. Roop's going to give him a little bit of what for, but he's not going to argue much, and the Badgers put 2 on the board to take a lead here in Magnolia. We'll come back for the top of the 4th. Badgers 3, Panthers 1. 7-4A baseball from Magnolia. You're listening on your Arkadelphia BadgerTV.com.
Everyone's known for something. Ours is simple. At the Southwest Auto Collection and iDriveSWA.com, you get the absolute lowest price on America's best brands: Ford, Lincoln, Chevy, GMC, Buick, and Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram. The best selection and the lowest prices guaranteed. And we deliver anywhere in the state, plus tires for life. It really is that simple. Visit us today, the Southwest Auto Collection, I-30 exit 78 in Arkadelphia, or online at iDriveSWA.com.
Yeah, we're back. All right, so let's get back to that trivia question. I see you feverishly over there on that telephone.
Well,
and
I'm on the phone trying to arrange food for my workers back at the house. But
okay.
I'll tell you what, when you
that.
said it's a 2-part question,
Yep.
I figured you were going to say college and pro, and
Nope.
not a whole lot of pro players that came from Henderson. So that's the alley I'm going down, but I
Okay.
might be going down the wrong alley.
No, your alley is going to be who is the player,
All right.
and once you know who the player is, it's obvious who he spent the majority of his time, but I want to know where he finished his career in the pros.
So Roy Green.
Roy Green is correct.
All right.
You have a Diet Dr.
All
Pepper
right,
coming
good.
your way, sir.
The Cardinals, and then
We know it's the Cardinals,
Yeah.
and not only the St. Louis, but also the Phoenix Cardinals.
Yep.
But where did Mr. Roy Green end his career?
That's a great question. Eagles.
You are exactly right. The Philadelphia Eagles is where Roy Green, who was an All-American over at Henderson State and a product of Magnolia, Arkansas.
There you go. I don't know what made me think Eagles.
Well, I don't either. Eagles are easily forgettable for me, but I'm a Cowboys fan, so what do you do? All right, leading things off here is Cade Browning. He grounded the ball right back to Carter Babb. That was that Babb play that he had to make over to his left side, or to his right side, and it was a nice play. That was to end the first inning. After a 1-2 and then a couple of base runners, he was able to make a great play. Ball and looks like 3 balls and no strikes here. So Browning way out in front here. We'll see if Carter finds the zone, and he does not. That one's going to be low. So a 4-pitch walk to start the bottom of the 4th here. Hunter Buford, the first baseman, grounded out on a nice play from Katie Young over at third. Back in the 2nd inning, first out of the 2nd inning. We'll see if Buford can do any good here with a runner aboard to start things for Magnolia in the bottom of the 4th. 3-1 Arkadelphia. Arkadelphia sitting alone in first place, 6-2 in the 7-4A, back in a familiar territory. Last year they led it wire to wire. And this year they started out 2-2 and have gotten on a four-game win streak.
Yeah, 6 straight to start the inning. You kind of hear the the dugout doing the Bluebell Park / Baum Stadium Ball 6 chant, trying to get something going. 3-1, you get 2 in that top half of the fourth. The last thing you want to do is give 8 straight to put first and second, put runners on first and second, because they're going to be taking.
So Coach Lowe going to go out. He's obviously not going to replace Carter. Carter got a lot in the tank, just going to give him a little bit of a breather, break the monotony a little bit there, and we'll see Carter come back and gather himself up here. Runner on, no outs, top of the first inning. Badgers leading at 3-1. Took the lead back from a tie ball game in the top of the inning on a couple of RBI doubles by the corner outfielders for Arkadelphia, Kesterson and Hill. And he comes back in with a strike, 2 balls and a strike. So
he barely got back in.
Mound visit by Lowe. He hit the high outside corner of the zone, but got the call. And having a hard time figuring out the zone here by the umpire. He's a little erratic. It's not necessarily biased in either way. It just seems to be a little bit liberal, maybe is the word. High foul ball that gets over there into that no man's land that we always hate to talk about. Over behind first base, and you've got a first baseman, a second baseman, and a right fielder converging, and it's just like a Bermuda Triangle over there. 2 balls, 2 strikes now after the mound visit, a couple of good pitches by Carter. And a pop-up, this one going to get back in the same place. We'll see if there's any difference, and it's almost the exact same spot and the same result as nobody's able to get there. There is a lot of foul territory. There's also a couple of tarps over there that I don't care who you are, those big jelly rolls get in your mind when you're going 90 miles an hour and your head's bobbing up and you're looking for a baseball in the air, and all you can see is that big old humongous culvert over there that keeps getting closer and closer. A couple of balls, a couple of strikes to Hunter Buford, the first baseman for Magnolia. He represents the tying run here in the bottom of the fourth. From the stretch, Babb low down in the dirt. He had a pitch to burn. Runs it full. Trying to get him to chase one down. Cooper Stevenson does a nice job digging it. Stevenson done a great job behind the plate defensively. Babb's one of those pitchers that he's gonna put some in the dirt. It's gonna require a catcher to go down and get him. There's a pitch. It's a strike. Or no, it's not a strike. Wow. Good pitch, good-looking pitch there by Carter. He laid off of it, and I thought he was going to ring him up. Instead, he pointed him to first. So a couple of walks here to lead off the fourth inning. And DJ Marshall grounded into one of those highlight plays over at short by Donovan Witten. Witten now going to give a little bit of attention to the second base runner. That's Cade Browning. Up in the grass at first base is Caden Brown. He's going to dive in on a square to bunt. It's pulled back by Marshall for strike one. So an opportunity here with no outs and a couple of runners on to advance the runners. We'll see if Marshall comes back, and Brown at first is anticipating it. Deep at third is KD. Holding the runner close is Witten at short. Covering the first base bag and laying down a great bunt. And in time over there at third. No, not in time. And that is another questionable call, as the ball was a perfect bunt by Marshall. It's fielded and tossed over to third base, and another bang-bang play that goes to the home team's advantage, and the bases are loaded now with nobody out.
That's a great bunt. Babb came off the mound maybe a half second, and then had to try to get the flip to Young at third. Just couldn't quite get it in time. Now you got to battle.
Nice Nice dig there by Stevenson as the first pitch goes low and outside to the 8-hole hitter, right fielder Porter Alston. He's the only lefty in the lineup. Lefty on lefty now. Runners getting their leads at every base. There's a swing and a miss, or it might have been a foul tip.
Just enough of it.
Got a little bit of it to get it off the left side of Stevenson. Bounced up in front of him, and a dead ball. No base runners, but a strike to even the count, a ball and a strike. Boy, a strikeout would be good, or a lazy ground ball to the infield for a force at home would be just what the doctor ordered for Arkadelphia here. A couple of balls and a strike to Alston. Bats in the 8-hole. Flew out to center field his last time up. And 3 balls now and a strike. Nowhere to put the runner. Babb's going to make the trip around the mound, gather himself, puts that left foot on the rubber, getting a little bit of chatter now from not only the bullpen, but the crowd. That one's going to get under the glove of second baseman. Coming up with it is Hill. He's going to make the throw. Back in, and a couple of runs will score, and the ball game is tied.
3-1. You don't have anywhere to put it, so that batter is just looking dead red, and you have to kind of groove one, and that's what Babb had to do there, and it's a nice piece of hitting to find that hole on the right side by Porter Alston.
Well, just like that, the ball game is tied back up. Still no outs. Arkadelphia needing an out bad here. Ground ball to the first baseman in the 3rd inning. He's batting again here in the 4th. There's a ball that is going to get just absolutely in the worst place possible for Arkadelphia. It was a ball that should have gone foul, probably would have gone foul, but Babb tries to make the miraculous play back over. Doesn't have a play. The speedy 9-hole runner, and just where the ball is, there's no way he's going to make that play. So now it's 4-3, and an infield hit. And an RBI for Dunn as we go back to the top of the lineup at Camden Smith. Runners at first and second now. 3-run inning gives the lead back to Magnolia and Camden Smith, the hitter. Nice turn there by Babb. If there had been probably someone there, if Witten would have been there, that could have been an easy pickoff. A big lead out there by Alston. Arkadelphia's middle infield making a lot of movement to try to keep that second base runner close. What he don't want to do is make 2 holes in that infield instead of 1. Squaring the bunt, and that ball's going to hit him. And you know, Chris, he looked like he was awful close to that plate when that ball hit his front foot. And you know, I know that's not really much of a call that's ever going to be made, but it's a tough break, as that's going to be the end of Carter Babb's afternoon as he comes inside a little too much. And we'll go to the big right-hander, the shortstop that's had a great day there in the field so far. We'll see if he can continue it on the mound. When we come back to Magnolia, 4-3, Arkadelphia trails here in the bottom of the 4th. You're listening to Badger Baseball on your Mascot Media app.
Hello, I'm Taylor King. I've been practicing law for over 34 years. But long before that, I learned what it takes to be a good lawyer, caring for others. You could say it's a family trait, and it's one I've passed along to my kids. If you've been involved in an accident, call 1-800-CAR-WRECK. I want to help.
We want to help, to be on your side, by your side. I'm Austin King. Now, I've not been practicing law quite as long as my dad, but thanks to him, I know what it takes to be a good lawyer. I guess you could say it runs in the family.
Whether you realize it or not, you see the work of Bats and Signs all around Arkadelphia. When you see the Badger equipment trailer on the way to a Badger game, Bats and Signs did that. When you're watching the Badgers, Tigers, or Reddies and see the signage that just really makes their facilities pop, Bats and Signs did that too. You see the signage in downtown Arkadelphia, on the campuses of Ouachita and Henderson, or the sign in your neighbor's yard supporting a candidate or their favorite Badger? Yep, Bats and Sign did that too. Longtime residents and supporters of all things Arkadelphia called Mark, Jared, Chris, or Ryan at Bats and Signs today to see what they can do for you.
Hello, I'm Taylor King.
Oops.
I've been practicing law for over...
Now we're back. Sorry about that, Blake. Can't
Not
see
a problem. Not a
sun.
problem. Still getting some
I'm gonna blame it on the sun. I can't
Well-
see the screen.
Well, we are getting a lot of sun here on the screen. Right behind us, a little bit of shadow starting to creep their way onto that right side over around the first base side. And so here we go. Second pitcher of the afternoon is Donovan Witten, the big senior right-hander coming in relief again for Arkadelphia. There is another ground ball. That one is going to be played as best he could by Katie Young. He goes across the field, and again, dinky dunk.
Goodness
And that's
gracious.
That's just one of those.
Yeah, I saw the Mets do that last night. They had a bunt that stayed on the foul line. They had a swinging bunt, and that's what Magnolia has put 3 in that area. You know, obviously the bunts worked out for them, but they'll trade an out for a run right now to increase that lead.
Yeah, absolutely. And now runners at second and third for Magnolia, and back to bat is the guy that has 2 for 2 so far, and that's the catcher, Dalen Blanchard. He's got a chance to really stretch this out for Magnolia if he can keep his hitting streak going, and their first one fouled away, and it looks so far like Donovan Witten's going to just come right at him, and we'll see. Righty on righty, power on power. And here he comes. Ball is going to be hit into shallow center field, and it's in no man's land. Nobody can get to it, and it's going to score a run into third base on the play is the Magnolia runner, and so a bloop single. You know, it's a little duck snort out there into right center field, and trying to make a turn and go back to get it was Cobb. He could not get to it, and center fielder, no way that he could get up there to it. Just bad luck for Arkadelphia, and this has been a very, very productive inning so far for Magnolia.
Yeah, again, they're not particularly just squaring up the baseball. They're just hitting it where they, right in the perfect spot, and that's all you have to do in the game. That's all you have to do in baseball.
Ashton Hunter now, the only batter that has not batted in the inning, is getting that bat with 1 out here and piling it on here with 5 runs to take a 6-3 lead. And time is going to be called by Arkadelphia. Cooper Stevenson is going to go over and make sure the signs are right from Coach Lowe, and here we go back. Witten wants the sign. He'll get it again from Stevenson. Back into the box, or into the box is Ashton Hunter. Hunter singled, grounded short. He's going to ground it short again. We'll see if he can make the play. All over the field today is Zane Hill. Now at shortstop, he makes the play for the 2nd out of the inning, and again, it is a sacrifice 6-3 RBI for Ashton Hunter, and another run comes across. Now the only runner at second base for Magnolia, batting around again batting for the 2nd time in the inning, is Kate Browning, and he walked to start the inning, and the damage for the Panthers here in the bottom of the 4th. Runner at second, 2 outs now. On the mound from the stretch, Witten comes high, ball 1. This is the kind of game that not a lot stirs up the kind-hearted and mild-mannered Donovan Witten, but this is the kind of game that gets under his skin, and he's starting to turn it up just a notch on that volume. We'll see, make sure he can keep it in control.
How many balls they had go out of the infield this inning?
I don't think maybe 2, and they've scored 6 runs on.
The 2 leadoff walks didn't help, but just the placement of the ball.
Small ball is the game, and I don't think it was intentional, but that's exactly what it's been this inning for Magnolia, and they've hung a big crooked number on the board here in the bottom of the fourth to take a 7-3 lead. Arkadelphia still plenty of time, 3 more innings to go, and certainly a chance for them to get back into this game. Big strike there. 2 balls, 2 strikes now to Cade Browning, the third baseman. He is 0 for today. He has 0 for 1 today with a walk. Started the inning off with a walk. Just a piece of it. And Witten trying to get it outside, and Browning stuck that bat out just enough to stay alive here.
I think Donovan thought that one was nasty. He kind of got a little woo on that one. He said, "Man, moved more than I normally get it to move."
And there's a swing, a tip, and a good catch there by Cooper Stevenson to stop the damage. So a strikeout for Donovan Witten as he comes in and closes the door, but batting around are the Panthers as they take a 7-3 lead on 6 big runs here in the bottom of the 4th. We'll be back in 60 seconds. You're listening to Badger Baseball on Mascot Media.
Make Print Mania in downtown Arkadelphia your place to get embroidery, screen printing, trophies, and more. Drop by their store on Main Street in downtown Arkadelphia or visit their website at printmaniatees.com to see how they can help your business or group. Need a shirt for an event? Let Print Mania take care of that. Need promotional materials for your business or organization? You can let Print Mania take care of that too. A family-run local business in Arkadelphia, Print Mania has been serving the public since 1992. Call Print Mania today, 870-246-3803.
While you may not be a pediatric surgeon volunteering your topiary talents at a children's hospital, your life is just as unique. Your Raymond James financial advisor gets to know you, your passions, and the way you give back, so you can live your life. That's life well planned.
Welcome back to Magnolia, Arkansas. Top of the 5th inning. It's getting late early for Arkadelphia as as Magnolia put 6 runs up in the bottom of the 4th inning. It'll be 1-2-3 for Arkadelphia. Carter Babb, KD Young, and Trip Campbell trying to get a few of these back and claw their way back in the last 3 innings. First pitch catches the outside part of the plate for strike 1. He's given the pitchers that outside corner and plus some on the left-handed batter all night, and Babb is down in the count 0-1. The 0-1 pitch, shot into right center field. That's going to get down for a base hit. Babb's second of the day, and Carter Babb leads off the top of the 5th inning with a base hit to right field to bring up KD Young. So Babb 2 for 3 on the day, and it was a nice play from the second baseman. That was the only out for Babb today, and KD Young comes to the plate now with Arkadelphia trying to get back in this one. Answer Magnolia 6. Blake, it's the second time I've called him Ash down in the last 45 seconds.
Well, I
think you did it earlier.
I've called him Ash down. We've got a Camden that plays for Magnolia, and
they gave themselves some hope in that bottom of the 4th inning.
Boy, they did.
Sorry, that was bad.
Wow,
that was bad. Sorry.
2-0 now to the big third baseman for Arkadelphia, junior Caden Young. You know, we've talked about leadership. We've talked about senior leadership. We've talked about, nice move there by
really
the pitcher. And Babb just able to get back in there. Boy, Hunter almost had him dead to rights.
Yeah, Hunter won the battle on that one. He just, Babb just got lucky that he got back in on that backside.
There's a shot that's going to be out into left field, an easy catch. He kind of fisted him a little bit. That one was about a third of the way up the bat from the sound of it. He didn't get the barrel on it, and even still it made its way about 300 feet, and first out of the inning for Arkadelphia. Campbell now. He's 0 for 2. Struck out looking in the first and popped up to the second baseman on a towering fly in the third. Now with an out and a runner aboard, we'll see if he can see about cutting into this lead here. There goes Babb. The throw is not good. It's going to get to the left of the bag, and easily in is Carter Babb with another stolen base, and that's going to be number 10 on the year for Carter Babb. So a runner in scoring position now. Arkadelphia not going to get 5 runs, or not going to get 4 runs with 1 runner on and a batter up. So Trip Campbell just hoping to get the ball in play, put it in fair territory, and hope it falls in for a base hit. Caden Brown behind him. Good lead out there, and he's going to third. We'll see if Carter, the ball sails into left field, and Carter going to come in standing up. Nice play. He took what they gave him, Chris. They weren't holding him on at second. He got about a third of the way. He decided to go. Not sure if he got the call from Coach Jordan, but he went anyway, and it draws the throw that sails into left field.
Yeah, third baseman wasn't expecting the throw there. Wasn't expecting a steal, and so therefore the throw went into left field. Carter scored easily.
Another pop-up and getting under it this time. We'll see if the Sun's going to play any tricks on the shortstop, and it does not, as he's able to get over and make the play, and that's Braden Sanchez. So another pop-up, and Campbell not having the greatest day. A couple of infield pops and a strikeout looking so far for Tripp.
Can't do it every game, though, right?
Well, you can't. That's exactly right. Caden Brown has been a guy, though, that has been able to light a spark from time to time for Arkadelphia. The junior first baseman with 2 outs now will come up. He has reached on an error and a walk, adding to his .524 on-base percentage this year, and leads the team in runs scored. He's got 14 runs scored on the year. Nobody else even in double digits so far for Arkadelphia. Couple of balls, no strikes, couple of outs. Pretty good Arkadelphia contingent down here in the stands to our left. Nice day to be outside and getting some sunshine on our backs. Smelling those hamburgers cook. That's a
My question was for a hamburger earlier, not a hot dog, right? Man, that is a smell. A good one. A good one.
3-1, taking all the ways. Caden Brown, he watches strike one. He'll dig back in. Witten on deck. And again, Witten turning on that. That's an inside pitch. That's an inside pitch that's just that's uncalled for, and that ball is way inside, and it's strike 2.
Brown has to back up, so now the catcher's going to set up outside, see if they can get the outside pitch.
And he's going to fist one to the second baseman. He makes the easy play over to first, and that's just a bad break for Arkadelphia. Bad call there at home plate. That's not something that Arkadelphia needed at that point in time, but they do scratch one across, and they cut into that lead by one, 7-4. We go to the bottom of the fifth. You're listening to Badger Baseball on ArkadelphiaBadgerTV.com.
Everyone's known for something. Ours is simple. At the Southwest Auto Collection and iDriveSWA.com, you get the absolute lowest price on America's best brands. Ford, Lincoln, Chevy, GMC, Buick, and Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram. The best selection and the lowest prices guaranteed. And we deliver anywhere in the state, plus tires for life. It really is that simple. Visit us today, the Southwest Auto Collection, I-30 exit 78 in Arkadelphia, or online at iDriveSWA.com.
Back to Magnolia we come. Arkadelphia and Magnolia 7-4A conference baseball. Arkadelphia leading the conference right now at a mark of 6-2, 8-4 overall. Magnolia, middle of the pack, 4-3, 7-6 overall. But right now, the script has flipped as Arkadelphia gave up a big bottom of the fourth inning and trail it 7-4 here as we go to the bottom of the fifth. Arkadelphia did get one back on Carter Babb's score. He just willed himself around the bases for the most part. Led off the inning with a base hit and then stole second, stole third, and then advanced home on an overthrow on the stealing of third. Hunter Buford now, first baseman. He walked his last time up, grounded out. He's 0 for 1 today. There's a pitch that looked like a slider outside that catches the outside of the black for Witten to start off ahead 0-1.
Oh.
And that one got him right in the helmet, and not sure if it got him in the face or not. His trainer's going to come out, and that one might have got, I think the helmet took the majority of the blow, Chris. It sounded like it did, but when the ball hits the helmet and the helmet hits the cheekbone, there's just not a lot there. Obviously better than hitting him straight, but we heard a lot of helmet on that, which is a good thing. We hope that young man is okay. Arkadelphia's infield is going to come in and check on their pitcher. Not a thing a pitcher ever wants to do is to come inside like that. And looks like he's going to be okay. He goes down to first base. His coaches are going to check on him. Coach Bobby Beeson over from third base. He's going to check on his first baseman, and
I think they changed helmets too. That might have
cracked that helmet.
Yep.
DJ Marshall now will come up. He bunted back in the fourth inning. One of that big fourth inning, he bunted in a really good bunt that ended up being an infield single for him. No outs now, hit by a pitch, a runner on first base. Swing over there by Marshall is going to hit him in the box for first strike of the at-bat. Arkadelphia out of conference Thursday afternoon from Arkadelphia. They'll play the Lake Hamilton Wolves. Another pickoff move that's going to go over to, it's going to get past Brown, and it's going to get another runner into scoring position. And that is not what Arkadelphia wants, is to put runners in scoring position. They're going to have to claw their way back in this. They don't have a whole lot of outs to do it, and they certainly don't want to give up any more runs in doing so. So unforced error is not something they can afford to give up right now. No balls and a strike to Marshall, the DH. Leadoff runner who was hit by a pitch. Buford is down to second. on the overthrow pickoff. Ground ball is going to find its way right through the left side, making the turn. We'll see if Kesterson has the arm to get it. He does not make the throw. It is cut off by K.D. Young, and again, just like that, an RBI single for Marshall twice in as many innings. Not sure if Kesterson knew right exactly where the runner was. Looked like he might have had a chance to make that throw. Chose to hit the cutoff man instead. Either way, it's a runner at first now, and that run that Arkadelphia clawed its way to is erased off the board here in the bottom of the fifth. Inside to Porter Alston, right fielder. He's batting in the 8-hole. An RBI single, one of many back in the fourth inning. He may have been the only one to actually hit it out of the infield last inning. Inside strike and a nice throw behind from Cooper Stevenson that's a little closer maybe than what Marshall would have wanted.
That strike call drew some some kind of puzzled looks from behind the plate. I mean, us included, but even those who are right behind the plate kind of, wait, what?
Yeah, not exactly sure what. Not exactly sure where the strike zone is going to be. It's a ball and a strike. Excuse me. Well,
2-1 now.
2-1, I believe. I think Arkadelphia needs outs in a big way.
Yeah, Magnolia was big for the Panthers to be able to build that lead and then respond with one run after Arkadelphia scored one in the top of the fifth.
And another hit by a pitch. So 3 batters in the inning, 2 hit by a pitch and an RBI single. And the wheel's starting to come off a little bit for Arkadelphia pitching. And the bottom of the lineup is Devin Dunn. He had an infield hit back in the last inning, scored an RBI on it. One of those little dinky dunks that didn't have enough on it, but with runners on base. Now he's going to square to bunt. Diving in from first is Brown. This is where you may have some confusion. You've got a new shortstop out there in Hill. He's got to know where to be. KD directing a little traffic over from third. Cobb's got to be ready to cover first, as Caden Brown at first is going to have to dive in to the right-handed batter who's going to try to get these runners into scoring position on a bunt down the right side. We'll see if he squares. He does not. He's going to have that little dinky infield hit again, and you've got to be kidding me.
Oh, my goodness gracious.
Once again, a full swing, and he wouldn't have busted a pinata with a samurai sword with that swing, and it's an infield hit for Devin Dunn, the 9-hole hitter that loads the bases with nobody out for the second inning in a row. So we've got a couple of infielders that are not really experienced in their positions. Well, Cooper is in his position. He just doesn't have a lot of playing time. Zane Hill, his first time he's played shortstop the entire game, and there's a ball that's just hit right through the hole. Once again, Kesterson's got to come up with this, and it's not there. Going to third, nobody covering the bag. The runners are at first and third, and Arkadelphia, and now there's a run going to second, the runner going into second base, and nobody there, and Magnolia.
They're smelling blood in the water.
Yes, they are, and it is Arkadelphia. Looks like that the big top is coming over the field here, as they are not.
Yeah, this is the 5th straight game that Magnolia has scored in double digits. You know, they've had 2 big innings, the 4th and the 5th. And, you know, you have the dinks, and then you do have a good solid base hit. And Coach Beeson was waving the runner around all the way. And then Arkadelphia just didn't have anybody covering second base, so now you have 2 more in scoring position.
And nobody out. Brandon Sanchez, shortstop. We'll see if Sanchez, he had an RBI. Sacrifice. Sanchez, maybe the only Panther to not reach base. He does have an RBI and on a sacrifice in the last inning, but he's not been on base yet for the Panthers. Arkadelphia needs a ball to go their way.
Triple play. Yeah, Coach Beeson in the third base box trying to get his batter just to let it travel, be laid on it, send it to the right side so you can get another run in.
Shadows on that right side starting to creep across now. They've reached second base and the pitcher's mound. We'll see them continue across to the left side of the infield as the day goes, and his batter does exactly what he's supposed to do, or at least he got the message as he fouls it off to the right side. Ten runs across now.
Well, I was going to say Arkadelphia is in danger of this being a 10-run rule if they don't get some outs soon, because the game-winning run by the sportsmanship rule is on deck.
Ground ball to the shortstop. He's going to bobble it, not even have a play. Juggling act over there by Hill in his new spot, and the run's going to come across. It's going to be an error on Zane Hill. And an RBI nonetheless. So now 11 to 4 is our score. And now your sportsmanship
definitely in play now.
Batter or run is at the plate. You know, you've got a situation here, Chris, where it's 11. You're down by what could potentially even be a sportsmanship. You know, if things continue the way they are, and you make a throw over to first base. We've already seen that throw go to the screen over there. Is that a throw you make? Do you trying to get outs? Do you let that runner steal down to second? He's probably going to get there if he does. What do you do in that situation? It's a hard call to make.
Well, and I think that's why KB came in and talked to Dom to make sure they're on the same page, knowing, you know, what's going on, when are you picking. Yeah.
Seems like it seems kind of like the cranberries in a chicken salad. It's not really why you buy the chicken salad, but it might be the difference in an inning if you get that out over there. Donovan needs to throw strikes here. He's down in the count, 2 balls and no strikes to Dalen Blanchard, the catcher, who has absolutely been a Badger killer today. RBI, RBI, RBI. He's stacking them up. Another throw in to first base, not in time. Back on his belly goes Sanchez. Runners at the corners, nobody out. Badgers giving up another crooked number, 6 in the 4th, 4 here in the 5th, and nobody out. Runner goes. They're going to let him steal second. And a strike is called to the chagrin of the home crowd here. As
Cooper kind of had that one kind of handcuffed him. That must have gotten the on those K zones when they bring that camera around. That would have caught the very bottom right of that strike zone.
It's one of those where and there's a ball that's going to be hit out to Kesterson and left. It's going to score 1. Going to turn, and the throw, it should be in time, and it is. A run comes across. Another one is gunned down at the plate, but that's still just 1 out. And what is another RBI single has now made it a – now we've got a runner over at second base that is someone other than Blanchard, and we'll see. I think I've got a picture of their lineup card here. It's number 22, and that is Jacob Herbert, who is a senior. He'll be running at second base for the catcher. Badgers finally get an out. Inside pitch to Ashton Hunter. He's gone all the way on the mound for Magnolia today. Arkadelphia started with Carter Babb. They went to Witten back in that disastrous fourth inning, and there's a turn and a nice backhanded stab at second by Cobb, or that one would have gone into center field and could have potentially been another run. Probably not. A center fielder is probably going to gun him down.
I don't think Coach Beeson would have sent him on the center fielder.
I don't think so.
You know, Coach Beeson sent that other runner and got thrown out, but you might as well send him to make Arkadelphia make a play. When you're up 8, you can play with house money a little bit, and Kesterson got the throw into Hill, who made a nice relay to Cooper Stevenson.
Well, house money is exactly what they've been playing on for the last 2 innings, and what started out for 3 innings to be a really good ball game has turned into a one-sided affair. 2 balls, no strikes. Now is 3 balls and no strikes. And about the only thing a walk could do here for the Badgers that would be positive is to put the force on by walking the runner or walking the batter to first base. Witten showing a little frustration, asking where that's at. He wants to.
I think he just wanted to ask. I don't think they ever told him. Oh my!
Oh, and it's a strike that
I don't think anybody knows where the strike zone is in this last half inning.
Well, it would be great to have an excuse, but it's not an umpire's game for Arkadelphia. It's just timely hitting and
well placed.
Timely hitting, well placed
in the infield.
Bad luck for Arkadelphia. Great luck for Magnolia.
And then when they have hit it to the outfield, it's been in big spots. You got runners on, you need to put one in the outfield. Magnolia's done that and been able to drive runners home.
Stevenson going to get a throw down to third, and
good block by KD.
Beeson is looking to put this one in the books. And he's stealing his runner to third base. And, you know, when you're playing the first place team, there is no mercy.
Oh, no.
There's 2 innings left, and if they can score 11 runs in 2 innings, that means Arkadelphia can score 11 runs in 2 innings. So you might look at this and say, hey, man, you're beating the brakes off of a team, but you're beating the brakes off of a team that you lost to 1-0 a month ago, and a team that you can get a full game on in conference standings, and you're also shortening a game that anything can happen.
Absolutely. If you have a chance to win a game in the sportsmanship rule, you do whatever you can because the game is not over. You can end it, you end it. And
exactly right.
That's what Magnolia is trying to do, as would I. Try to end it when you can because you never want a game to go longer than it has to. And that's what Coach Beeson's trying to do. That's why, he ran some on the balls to left field, and he's been able to take advantage of some. And now the winning run is on first base.
Browning now is the batter. And he's hit by a pitch. So for the second time in as many innings, the Magnolia Panthers have batted through the lineup. Hunter Buford back up. He started the inning, hit by a pitch. And that is the third batter in the inning that has been hit by a pitch. And we'll see how Donovan reacts now with the bases loaded and one out. Well, he throws a strike. He hops over and, you know, I remember Donovan as a youngster about machine pitch age, 8 or 9 years old, a kid that just loved to play. He was like a sponge. He soaked up a lot of knowledge. You never thought he would have been the great athlete that he is. Not that he wasn't. He was a normal sized kid, but he just loved the game. He loved to come out and play the game, and he was a competitor. He listened well, and now as a senior, you see him out there, and it makes me proud to see that, you know, he can come out and have an inning like he's had and still, you know, groove a strike in there, keep his composure, grooves another strike that's fouled off to the left side. And
the way it gone,
you know,
Blake, I'm surprised that one didn't stay fair as well.
Where I hit a pebble and bounced back into play, you know. But I say that to say this, you know, we've talked about senior leadership, and we've talked about, you know, some of these players having plans after baseball, and, you know, Donovan Witten has grown up a lot this year, and it's baseball season for Donovan, and he's giving his team everything he's got today. Shot out into right field. Bab's going to circle around, make the play. Will they score? They are going to try, and it's going to draw the throw. It's way off line. Going into second and third is the winning run now is 90 feet away. 15. Excuse me. 13-4 is the score. And so if Arkadelphia can get this out before the run from third were to score, we continue. If not, it's an early exit for the Badgers, and we regroup on Thursday. Either way, we're going to stick around for just a couple of minutes after the game. We're going to talk about the rest of the week for Arkadelphia, and then we'll wrap things up. Boy, that looked like a nice pitch, and Donovan wanted it really, really bad. A ball and a strike. He says, come on, man, we're down by 9, and I groove it and hit the lip of the coffee can, and you don't give it to me. Ball and a strike now to DJ Marshall, the big designated hitter. He's had a couple of RBIs in his last 2 at-bats in these 2 big innings. Winning run is 90 feet away. Runner at second does not matter one bit, and it's going to be hit into center field and cannot get to it. Diving is Trip Campbell. He's not able to get there, and that's your ball game. You know, that's why they play baseball, Chris. I don't know if Magnolia is the better team. I don't know if Arkadelphia is the better team, but tonight the better team was Magnolia, and we got a little bit of not exactly sure what we got going on. Arkadelphia is showing a little bit of, well, we're not gonna discuss that. If we hope that you didn't see any of that on your camera. A little bit of a little bit of poor sportsmanship, but for the most part, Arkadelphia now the lines are converging and everything seems to be under control. But you know, when you're used to winning, Chris, it's a hard pill to swallow to lose, and it's another even harder pill to swallow when you just get you just really get embarrassed.
So you just tip your cap and you say it wasn't your day and you go on with it, you know.
Well, you do. It's baseball, and you know, one of the things about baseball is you have a whole lot more games than you do in football. Yeah. You normally have a whole lot more games than you do in basketball, and you have a whole lot more games than you do in soccer. So you do that because baseball is one of those sports that can be really, really fair or really, really unfair. And today it was just really unfair for Arkadelphia.
Right. Magnolia did what they needed to do, and
they did exactly what they needed to do. Now here's what we've got. Arkadelphia going to go out of conference on Thursday, back in conference against Malvern. They should beat Malvern. Malvern is a team that Arkadelphia should be better on in paper, but they lost last time. Proves their point. Nashville is at 5-5. They're in second place. Ashdown at 4-2. Nashville at 5-2 is in second place. Ashdown at 4-2. Nashville has DeQueen tonight. We'll see how that goes out. Then they play this same Magnolia team here at Magnolia on Friday night. Ashdown playing at Hope tonight. That should be a win for Ashdown. That's going to get them right back up into the mix. And then they go to Camden Fairview on Friday. So things starting to get a little dicey here in the 7-4A. Arkadelphia going to play a JV game, get some of these young guys some work. What do you do if you're Coach Lowe when you go to practice tomorrow?
Well, you just it's just mental. You know, you put it behind you and get on with it and respond in the right way instead of the wrong way. You know, that's all you can do.
Well, the Badgers are a great team. We know that. They have some days great teams have bad days, and that was one of those days today. But we're glad you came along with us. We're going to be back on Thursday with a home game, hopefully against the Lake Hamilton Wolves. And then we'll be back on the road broadcasting from the confines of Malvern. And hopefully Arkadelphia can square the season series up with the Leopards. Thank you for joining us. For Chris Babb, I'm Blake Bell. So long, everybody. Thanks for listening and watching Badger Baseball.